GOA just won one of the biggest Second Amendment cases in American history in New York. We heard you. We heard all of you. Go behind enemy lines and free the people trapped by their oppressive government. Hey guys, it's Phil with GOA and you're watching the Minuteman Moment. In case you haven't been following our work in the courts, I'll give you a very quick recap. The Supreme Court slapped down the Empire State for enacting a law that made it impossible to bear arms outside the home. In response, New York put more restrictions on when, where, and how you can carry. And here's where we came in and won. A New York State judge issued a preliminary injunction in our case, suspending many parts of New York's concealed carry law. The ruling immediately suspends a lot of the worst provisions of New York's concealed law, including gun bans at many sensitive locations deemed by New York, like parks, zoos, airports, places of worship, and more. With one decision, this judge immediately restored the rights of New York gun owners to carry in accordance with their constitutional rights in these locations. You all should know that there are other lawsuits out there, but they're typically dealing with just one of the other sensitive locations, like places of worship. What makes our victory so significant is that we got places of worship and many other sensitive locations slapped down. Like I mentioned, zoos, airports, parks, we got those too. But wait, there's actually more. Our lawsuit also stopped the clause that required people applying for concealed carry permits to disclose their social media accounts or the names and contact information of everyone in their household. Your right to keep and bear arms has nothing to do with your based memes. And just in case you weren't tired of winning, the dreaded vampire clause of New York's concealed carry law was struck down as well. And if you're not aware, the nickname vampire clause refers to a provision in the New York concealed carry law that requires express permission to carry a firearm from the owner of any piece of private property in New York State. This clause essentially turned most of the state into a gun-free zone. And so GOA's attorneys of record, Rob Olson and Stephen Stamboli, took on an army of anti-gun lawyers to beat New York in an uphill battle spanning the past few months. That's a pretty big accomplishment. 2 GOA lawyers beat an army of well-funded anti-gun lawyers. And so this decision has national repercussions. New York has been a testing ground for ways to get around the Bruen Supreme Court decision since that court handed down its decision in late June. New Jersey has passed similar restrictions to New York, and a lot of other states are very closely watching the case in New York to see what happens there. And so the judge in our New York case called this out by saying, in so doing, the state defendants attempted to avoid the impact of the burden-shifting rule set forth in the Bruen case. But since these politicians just can't understand language as clear as the Second Amendment, he makes it easy for them to understand just what he's saying. He said, they fail. Those words will live on in pro-gun lore right up there next to shall not be infringed. In fact, I'm calling it. We're making a t-shirt all about that. It just says, they fail, and then has some like anti-gunner's face on it. The victory sends a clear message to those anti-gun states that the courts will overturn unjust laws restricting the constitutional rights of American citizens. And in fact, here's what Erich Pratt, GOA's senior vice president, had to say about all of this. Just like we warned politicians after the Bruen decision, fall in line or we will force you to. We are excited to see Kathy Hochul finally served a plate of humble pie, and we are fully prepared to continue the fight should she again attempt to disarm the citizens of her state at a time when her party's policies are only escalating the danger that everyday citizens will face. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you soon.